A WWE title match has been leaked for SummerSlam, and this has fans talking crazy about the huge implications this has on the show, including a debuting superstar's chance to get involved in the match. And we're going to break down this and much more coming up on this episode of Wrestle Digest. But before we get into it, we got to say we're on the road for 3,000 subscribers before the end of the summer. So please, if you're not subscribed already and you want to keep up to date on everything that's happening around the WWE, around the wrestling world, make sure down below and hit that subscribe button. But with that said, let's jump into the first topic of the video today, Josh, which is Logan Paul breaks shocking record. I know. I can't believe this. When I seen this today, my jaw kind of dropped to the floor. And if you don't know what we're talking about, we're going to bring it up here. Logan Paul has secured his place in history by surpassing the record for longest U.S. title reign in the past decade, passing Austin Theory's second reign of 257 days. And I mean, Josh, this is crazy. I can't believe that we're talking about this. Well, at least he passed Austin Theory. I guess that's one big thing about this. But can you believe that Logan Paul is the longest reigning U.S. champion in this past decade?
Look, I got a huge problem with this, all right? And, as I'm sure I have problems with this. A lot of fans have problems with this. It's just because he doesn't have any defenses, right? If he was out there every week or every 2 weeks having a title defense, I wouldn't have too much of a problem with it. Like, of course, I'm not a fan of Logan Paul the person. I don't mind Logan Paul the wrestler. When it comes to a guy, he's doing what, like, everyone complained about Roman Reigns doing. Except Logan Paul's arguably worse. He's had 2 title defenses. He's had 2, and they've been, disqualification and another. Like, there's just been so many shenanigans about this stuff. Now, people are speculating, too, he's going to his hometown of Cleveland. They're not going to let him lose. Nah, that's not true. LA Knight's going to beat him at SummerSlam. I'm almost convinced of that, because at this point, WWE has to know that the fans are getting sick of this. Like, I get it. They get a ton of publicity from Logan Paul. I don't see the numbers behind the scenes. Maybe he's bringing in crazy money from this. But the U.S. title has a long history, Casey. I'm not going to go crazy and deep into this, but it should be held with more prestige. It shouldn't be treated as, like, it's being treated seriously, right? They're trying to give it that prestige of, I don't appear very often when I come by, but it just does not feel the same as Roman Reigns. It just feels like, Logan's just disappeared again because he got to do his social media. It's a very different feeling. I'm sick of this. I don't want him to have this record. I want this to be wiped away. I want LA Knight to win, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think LA Knight, is going to beat Logan Paul in his hometown. It just seems like that's the way it's going. And like you said, Logan Paul has only had 2 defenses. So, you want to add a little bit more prestige to that championship. You don't want it to be that championship that becomes into like a 24/7 championship,
No, I know.
So it would make sense for the megastar who's really hot right now, has one of the loudest pops in the WWE to hold this championship. And then we'd get a gauge on if LA Knight can be a successful world champion. I think that's what we're going to see from this LA Knight reign, and I think you're 100% on the money there by saying Logan Paul is going to lose. It just makes the most sense. I think that they handled this poorly. I love Triple H, but I'm going to speak my mind here. I think that Logan Paul is a tremendous wrestler for someone who's just got into the business, and he could have easily had a dominant reign defeating all these up-and-coming superstars because he has that ability. He didn't need to win by disqualification. He didn't need to win by brass knuckles. I understand that's his character, but he's tremendous in the ring, so I wish they had to give him the opportunity to be, a fighting champion. I think that would have been great to see, but we want to hear your guys' opinions down below in the comment section. What do you think about Logan Paul being the longest reigning U.S. champ in the past decade? Because it doesn't sit right with us here on the channel. We're going to get into the second topic of the video, which is Hikuleo has reportedly joined WWE. And yes, as we've seen here, over the last, month, we've heard of rumors of Hikuleo joining WWE, and now his contract is up with New Japan, and he has reportedly signed with WWE, as we've seen from Sean Ross Zapp from Fightful Select. He says sources have confirmed that Hikuleo has officially joined the company. His start date, however, is currently unknown. And Josh, this is just another, one of those Bloodline members that's making his way over here to WWE and has a lot of people excited. And they say his start date is unknown, but to me, it seems like it could be in the very near future.
Yeah, I think we'll get into that a bit in the next segment for when we think he'll be debuting. But Hikuleo has had a great career over in New Japan. Of course, he's been part of the Bullet Club, has been part of all kinds of great stuff over there. And he is the half brother of Tonga, and he's also related, I believe he's the cousin and adopted brother, something like that, of Tonga Loe. It gets a bit confusing when you go through it, but regardless, he is a relative to both of them, and he would be joining the Bloodline. He's only 33 too, KC, and you watch some of his in-ring action. I mean, he's quite good. Like, I just watched a little match of his just before this video, right? Because I hadn't heard a ton about Hikuleo before. Like, let's figure out what he's all about. And he has some great strikes. He had a fantastic choke slam to finish off the match I watched, and he's pretty quick. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a Jacob Fatu level of dominant, anything like that. I don't even know if he's quite at the level of Tama Tonga, though maybe he is. And I think some New Japan fans, people who have watched more of each of them, could let us know down below. But the crazy thing, Casey, we've already heard about a month ago WWE trademarking the name Tala Tonga, which would be kind of ridiculous. We're starting to get into like NWO territory. We're just adding as many people as we can to this bloodline, but to me, honestly, like, yeah, the story starts to feel a bit stale on SmackDown, but I think the overall story is growing, developing week by week. Not every week can you have something crazy happen, but Hikuleo, Tonga, whatever he's going to go by, I think we'll add some much needed depth to this bloodline, and we don't even know which side he might be joining. Will he be joining Solos? Will he be involved in Romans on the other side? But I don't know. I think this is really interesting, but we're going to get into a potential debut date later, I know, but regardless, I'm very excited to hear that he's finally on his way to WWE.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, he has great in-ring skills, and I think this is more long-term planning by Triple H, Paul Levesque, kind of planning for that WrestleMania in Vegas when the Bloodline's ultimately going to, I guess, fight each other, or it's going to fold, or something's going to happen between this Bloodline with The Rock, Roman Reigns, and now we see Hikuleo coming from New Japan to join this storyline, and I think we will see one more Tongan join the Bloodline, which is Zilla Fatu, because I think he's coming. I think it's just about time we see him. I'm really excited for this Hikuleo signing. I think he's going to be fantastic in this storyline. I would put him a peg over Tonga Loa here because he hasn't really done much, unfortunately. I would like to see more out of him. Ever since he's debuted, he hasn't really done much.
I don't want to see any more strikes. I don't want to see any more strikes from Tonga Loa. That's the one thing I don't want to see.
Yeah, 100%. But it just seems like he's becoming the low blow master or something. But I think
low blow.
I think this is going to be, like I said, long-term story planning, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to cook up here in the coming months leading up to WrestleMania and how the Bloodline's really going to boil over, and it all starts with this new signing in Hikuleo. But we want to hear your guys' thoughts down below, your theories about what's next for the Bloodline. We'd love to hear from you down below in the comment section. We're going to get into the next topic of the video, but we got to say it is a spoiler, so
spoiler alert.
Yeah, so if you don't want any spoilers, you've been warned. And the spoiler is the new #1 contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championship. And yes, as we know, the WWE is moving to Japan for a tour, and they had to tape the following SmackDown for this week, where the main event was a tag team gauntlet, which would then, the winners would face DIY for the WWE Tag Team Championships. And Josh, guess who won that tag team gauntlet?
I got an idea.
No other than the Bloodline. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa teaming up again like they once were on the Indies and winning this gauntlet to become the #1 contenders. And it just makes great sense. I mean, I've been saying this for a while that the tag team division is kind of lacking a little bit now. I know that might be a hot take, but the Bloodline, they're kind of they haven't won anything, so they need to win something. So getting them into this tag team championship match at SummerSlam, in my opinion, makes the most sense. And then you can put some belts around the members of the Bloodline.
Yeah, so the WWE Tag Team Championships were defended the SmackDown before Money in the Bank, and that's where, of course, Gargano and Ciampa won them. So I was there live, which was absolutely phenomenal. Not to brag, but I don't see them doing that again. Maybe they'll do that with the Women's Tag Team Championships heading into SummerSlam, but I think this is going to be a SummerSlam match. I think it just has to be. Of course, DIY is phenomenal, but no surprise here that the Bloodline won. I am a little upset because I'm a huge Street Profits guy. I really wanted to see Montez Ford. He's one of my favorites to go out there and win that, but Dawkins is great too. But I understand what they're doing, and you're very right when you make the point that what has the Bloodline won? Like, you have Solo with no gold at all, and you got Tonga and Tonga Loa with absolutely no gold. Jacob Fatu will have lots of gold in his WWE career, but not yet. And of course, the Usos are not part of this, and then Roman Reigns is gone, probably coming back very soon. So they need something, right? The Judgment Day outclasses them in every single way, which is kind of insane when you look at, you know, where these storylines are. Now, obviously, it's not all about titles for the Bloodline. A lot of it is about being the head of the table, being the tribal chief, being the leader of this group, which is like similar to what we've been saying about the Wyatt Six. Like, it shouldn't all be about titles. But now they're starting to make it about titles. Now they're trying to not only take over the family, but take over the WWE. But Casey, if this ends up being a match on SummerSlam, which I think it will be, so we got Tama Tonga Loa going up against DIY. There's a lot of potential here. And we just talked a bit about Hikuleo and how he's related to these guys, right? He's their half-brother and cousin and all this stuff. To me, it makes, like, not only will we probably see Roman appear at some point in the show, maybe after Solo and Cody's match, I see this as a prime opportunity. Oh, why did I say prime? Yeah, Logan Paul's in my mind. The perfect opportunity to debut Hikuleo. Maybe, I don't know if you want him to interfere in this tag team match, but I think it really fit well with this whole Bloodline thing, right, Casey? We've seen how many Bloodline members have debuted via interference in some kind of match and some kind of title match, right? So, to me, this was pretty predictable, but now that we have that Hikuleo news, I feel like it's all coming together, and I think we're going to get a very Bloodline-heavy, very exciting SummerSlam.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think this would be the perfect way to debut a new superstar at one of the biggest shows of the year. The Bloodline are finally fighting for the gold, and having a new member join to, you know, I would hate to see DIY lose the title in such a short run. I would honestly hate to see that, but it just seems like it's going that way to where Hikuleo is going to join WWE, help Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa win the tag team championships. It just makes the most sense because I can't see Solo beating Cody. It just, if Solo beats Cody, I will lose my mind because it just doesn't make sense. So if you're having a Bloodline fight for 2 championships on one night and they lose both, do you know how much that would damage their faction to walk away from SummerSlam without a belt? So it makes sense for them to win this match with interference from Hikuleo. Also, another theory I've seen online, I might be rambling a little bit, is the Motor City Machine Guns are rumored to debut during this match as well, which if you don't know who they are, make sure to go look them up because they're a tremendous tag team who have been wrestling around the indies and have been reportedly signed with WWE. So maybe they debut here and come out, but then we see Hikuleo come out, take those guys out, which then distracts Gargano and Ciampa for the Bloodline to win the championships. That just seems like a solid theory there. But I think that whatever happens at SummerSlam, the whole WWE landscape is going to change. Like I said, I would hate to see DIY lose, but it only makes the most sense for the Bloodline to win these championships, Josh.
Yeah, it does. And Motor City Machine Guns, of course, have like an incredible history. They've been one of the best tag teams in the world for many years, so it'd be cool to see them. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think you're right. Now, this sounds absolutely crazy, but I'm starting to convince myself that it's not impossible for Cody to lose. I don't want to ramble too much about this. I still think it's an almost certainty he's going to win, but I see a world where there's shenanigans where he loses, though. I also can't see Solo wearing that belt. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know. There's so many crazy paths, but Casey, that's the great thing about Triple H WWE right now. I have myself questioning every possible outcome because honestly, there have been lots of twists and turns. Some things have been predictable, some things haven't. I don't know what to believe, what not to believe. So regardless, it's going to be a great show. I'm very excited, and I think there's lots of room for some interesting debuts, returns, and shenanigans.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is only 2 matches we're talking about here. We still got a whole night of stuff. I mean, I can't wait for this pay-per-view. I think it's going to, or premium live event, sorry. I think it's going to be amazing. I think
knocking on your door right now.
Yeah, I know. Triple H is cooking as he always is, and this whole Bloodline stuff is just starting to all culminate now for a huge storyline heading to WrestleMania, and I can't wait to see what unfolds. We want to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think? Do you think Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa win the championships? Let us know down below in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure down below, hit that like button. It helps push these videos out to all the wrestling fans on YouTube. Also, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we're on the road for 3,000 subscribers before the end of the summer. summer. So if you want to keep up to date on everything that's going to happen, I guess we're kind of leading up to the road to WrestleMania now. We're going to be here every day keeping you updated on what's to happen. So make sure you're down below and hit that subscribe button. But as always, I've been your host, KC, alongside my co-host, Josh Gosse. We'll catch you in the next one.